welcome back to the margins. We are so loving this series. I hope you guys are too. Today we are still talking about conferences because there's just a lot to talk about. But this can also go for pretty much anything in life, which is networking. To me, that's maybe not the funnest of words, I guess, to say.
It can be kind of scary.
Yeah, and I think that's why is because we hear networking, and I think we think of taking the personalness out of it. And I have taught a class in the past that talks about building a genuine social media presence. So I'm going to pull a few things from that. And basically, this is not one of my points, but I'm going to start us here. And that is in networking, you need to be your most genuine self with whoever it is that you're connecting with, because it turns that network into really more of a friendship. And I think if we think of it that way, you're just building bookish friendships. And I think that that's huge.
Oh,
But
yeah.
really, technically, you're networking. So, so I've got 3 tips to start us off with today. Whether you're going to a conference or if you're maybe going to a bookish event or things like that, or maybe you're just going somewhere and there's going to be a lot of people. So, first of all, we're going to start with doing your legwork ahead of time. Now, this is specific to going to conferences or maybe events, but we've talked about this in the past. I think it was Kristen who has meant. I think it was Kristen. I think it I can't say your name. I think it was Kristen who mentioned this. And basically, she was saying, use hashtags for the conference. Go to the conference website. If they have like an Instagram page, that's a great place to connect with other readers or writers who are attending the same event. So maybe start commenting on those posts. Post your own that includes the hashtag. Say, hey, I'm going to this thing. Who else is going? And just kind of be annoying about it, because chances are people who are going are probably not going to see your first post. They may not see your second. Honestly, they may not even see your third post, but they might see your fourth post. So it makes it worth it that way. And connect with those people. Put yourself out there a little bit while you have the comfort of a screen between you and them, and get to know them that way. Secondly, which is what I just said, put yourself out there. That's a hard, and I totally, totally get that, because despite what I appear, I am an introvert. I love
Same.
people. I love people, but there's just like I get to be like, there's too much people. So
Yeah.
I need to like recharge. But one of the things I have challenged myself with in going to any conference is to remember that I am worthy of making friends. And I know that sounds so silly, but I really do kind of speak that to myself, because I am worthy to attend that event. I am worthy to be meeting people. I am someone who belongs there no matter where it is, because I'm there. So put yourself out there in the sense of maybe you see someone who looks as lonely as you are and you introduce yourself, or maybe you see a group of people and if they all have the conference lanyard, that type of thing, go up to them. And I know it's probably gonna be hard, but you can do it, and you can break into those circles of friends. And I think most of the time, especially if we're talking about um welcoming writers conferences, they're gonna
Hmm.
welcome you right into that
Oh,
circle.
yeah. Yeah.
And then lastly, find other newbies. A lot of conferences offer a newbie session. And those I think are gold, because you need to attend if you're new, and you need to make it your goal to meet at least 3 other people, because those people are going to be the people who invite you out to dinner, or they're going to ask you how your day went or see how your pitches went. Um, I have noticed, at least the conferences that I've attended, that people are just out there to connect to. Like, they're not thinking, oh, I don't want to meet anybody. They're actually there to meet people too. And a lot of us just walk around so scared that we're not sure how to like bridge that gap. And so maybe it looks like you being the one to bridge that gap. And this is a like PSA to all of our listeners who are extroverts. Come find us introverts and help us.
Yes.
We
I
need you.
I almost had one of my points, one of my tips be to either go with your extroverted friend or find those
Yeah.
extroverts and then just follow them around because I mean they will just They will gather you under their
Yes.
wings, and then they will, like, introduce you to everybody, so
Yes, it's totally a thing, and I mean, I guess, like, I could say for myself, I have those extroverted moments, especially at conferences where I feel
mhm,
comfortable, and so I'm speaking to me too. I might not be an extrovert, but I try to incorporate people who are around me, and it kind of goes back to what we were saying at the beginning, right? Be genuine, be who you
yeah.
are, and connect with those people. And be on the lookout for people who might be in the same situation as you, especially if you've already been to that conference. Welcome
Yeah,
people in.
yeah. And my tips are kind of going along the same lines. I'm also introverted. I can be outroverted, extroverted,
I like it.
outroverted, extroverted,
Outrovert.
over here making new words. I can be extroverted when I need to be, and especially in somewhere like a conference. But I too am introverted. So my tips for you: number one, don't hide in your room. If you're going to a conference, generally it's at a hotel. Generally, everybody has rooms. Don't hide in your room. Don't plan on hiding in your room. If you're at an event, don't hide in the bathroom the entire time. Like, get out,
Take a
meet those
breather
people.
if you need
Yeah,
to.
yes. Take a breather if you need to, but don't plan on, like, I'll go out for 5 minutes and then I'll just come back here all day. Um, at Railmakers, I'm pretty sure I left my room, at like by 6:37 every morning, and I didn't go back until I think the earliest I was back one night was like 11:30 at night, not in the morning, not
Yeah.
like, 4 hours later. It was like all day. So anyway, yes, don't plan on hiding in your room. My second tip is eat with other people. Generally, if the conference doesn't have well, the few conferences that I've gone to, lunches were like a paid extra thing. And so a lot of times people don't pay for the lunches and they go out to eat, they bring food, what have you. So generally there's always a big group of people going somewhere trying to find food somewhere. A lot of times people have flown in, so there's not cars, so they can't like leave. So just find who's eating lunch and eat with them or see if you can join them. I brought my lunches at the last conference, and I literally would like run up to my room, grab all my stuff, bring it down, and use the microwave because apparently they don't have microwaves in hotel rooms anymore because it's a fire hazard. What? Anyway, whatever. So I would literally sit and eat in the lobby, and I had people constantly like coming up to me and talking to me or sitting down and talking to me and I loved it because again, it's a conference and so I wanted to meet as many people as possible and be as extroverted as possible. So, plan to eat with other people.
Oh, real
Yes.
quick here
Yeah.
too. Other conferences I've been to have like large like mealtime tables
Mm,
where you're just, you go in and, it's part of the conference. So it just depends on where you're
yeah.
going. And it's really tempting to find that empty table and just sit down and be like, I'm
Yeah.
here, I'm good. But that's
Mhm.
another opportunity, right? Because honestly, every time I've been in that situation, I'm like, oh, and I'm the person who's carrying like 5 million bags of camera stuff.
Yes.
So I'm
Yes.
like, come up to the table. I'm like, is anybody sitting here? Everybody's going to be like, oh, join us, unless there's like not a seat, but they're not going to be like, no, we don't want you here. It's usually
This
like, oh,
this is
well,
it middle grade.
sorry. Yeah, like, sorry, there's, someone's already taken this seat. Then go to the next table. It's not a big deal.
And a lot of times when I've come across a situation like that to where either I'm at the table and there's no more seats, or if somebody is coming up and asking, or if I'm coming up and asking, generally it's like, oh yeah, that seat's taken, but hey, there's an empty seat, just pull it over here. I mean,
Hmm.
there's
Hmm.
plenty of room. So yeah, eat with other people, don't eat by yourself. And then my third tip, well, I kind of have two more tips. One is don't sleep, which is kind of a joke, but kind of not
But
really.
kind of true.
Because you really don't. You don't sleep. Yeah. And that would go back to like if you're sleeping, then you're in your room and you're not supposed to be doing. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Get and get as much sleep as you need. Um, my third tip is don't stress if you get talking and you miss the session that you're supposed to be in. Fun fact: every single conference I've been to, I always miss sessions. And the first conference I went to, I missed every single session. So don't stress out if you're like, oh, I'm really enjoying this conversation with this amazing author or this, dream editor, or agent, but I have to go to my class. don't stress out. Most conferences, if it's not included with your entry fee, I mean, they have for not generally not a lot. They have like the whole entire recording
Mhm.
for that, like for all the sessions. So
Mhm.
don't stress if you get to talking, and just know that you're going to pick up
Mhm.
the conference recording, and then you can get, which is kind of,
And, like, budget that in because I
yeah,
think I think my mentality, especially the first time I went, to a conference I'll be attending this month actually, is like, "Oh my gosh, I paid so much money to be here, and I wanted to be in those classes," but
yeah.
God's honest truth, those connections that I made in the hallways have
Mhm.
gone so much further than any class that I've taken. And it's nothing against the teachers. The classes
Yeah.
are amazing. But I mean, I was approached by agents in the hall. Like I got to talk to
Mhm.
editors in the hall, like things like
Yeah.
that, where you're just like not planning on it are actually they're what you pay for to attend a
Yeah.
conference. And if you're putting out that money, we know that it's a big expense regardless of, your circumstances. It's going to be a lot, but that's the reason you're there is really to
Yeah.
make those networking
Yeah.
connections, friendships.
For the win. I don't know. I don't know why I'm doing which these videos are also on YouTube now.
Yep.
So if you
Come
want to
see
go
us.
watch Emily and I make really weird faces at each other and
Get
whatever
odd
this is,
hand motions. It's more fun
maybe
this way.
I'm like directing a plane or something. Anyway, so we hope you have enjoyed this episode of The Margins, and we hope to see you next week when we drop another episode. But until then, happy writing.